So I don't know about you all, but I'm really excited about this class because I am not a LinkedIn expert in any stretch of the imagination. I use it as a business card, which according to Maggie is not what it's supposed to be or not all that it's intended for. And I know that I've talked to and seen a lot of agents that are having good success using LinkedIn in their business. So I was really excited last week when Joanna reached out to me and said, you know, my daughter Maggie could come and do a LinkedIn class for us. So I jumped on that right away, and I was glad that Maggie agreed to come in and do it. And I'm glad that you all are here. Maggie has spent the last 6 years leading teams developing and strengthening leadership skills through networking, mentorships, and her role as a training manager. She is a young leader whose personal mission statement revolves around pouring into others and promoting growth. She's been a member of LinkedIn for 7 years, and she's found that the social media platform LinkedIn tends to be the best resource for building relationships, growing her career, and fulfilling her personal mission. So without further ado, I am going to pass off hosting duties to Maggie, let her say hello to you all, and I know that she's got some good slides and information to walk us through. So enjoy, and I will also be here and help facilitate. But Maggie, you should now have controls.
I do, thank you. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me on this. As she said, I've been a member of LinkedIn for 7 years, and I have found some really great uses for this social media platform. So thanks for joining this course. Today we're going to review, what LinkedIn is and how that can be used as a better resource for engaging with your current clientele or potential clientele, or just people that maybe you don't know yet, but you would like to get to know. Can everyone see my screen?
I can see you, Maggie, but I can't see your screen yet if you've shared it.
Okay. Let's go here. All right, now can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
And Maggie, real quick, I know we've had this challenge on some other classes. If you cannot see her screen in full view, if you're getting a side-by-side and you're seeing her slides in a small view, go to the top of your screen, right next to the green little notification that you're viewing Maggie Taylor's screen. Click that view options and make sure you're not, click on side-by-side mode to make sure you're out of side-by-side mode. You don't want to be on side-by-side. That way you can see full view of her slides.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Christian, for adding that in there. Okay, so let's dive in here. Today's topics and what we're going to go over together is, first, I'm just going to explain what LinkedIn is, what their mission is, and some reasons for joining LinkedIn. And then I'll review some statistics about the social media platform as well that will hopefully encourage you to become a member of LinkedIn or get more engaged on that social media platform. I'm going to show you how I use LinkedIn and some examples of all-star profiles. So I am a certified all-star profile, and then I'm going to show you a few other really great examples of engaging all-star profiles as well, so you can see some different uses of the main profile page that you create. Some general use and application. So we're going to go into some content pieces here and how you can grow your LinkedIn to be a more engaging social media source for you. And we're going to dive into some questions at the end. If you guys have questions throughout the training, you can put them in the chat box, and Christian and I will work to answer those throughout. If you have questions in regards to your company's specific guidelines for social media, Christian will be assisting me and answer those questions, because I, of course, will not have those answers. But I do want to highly encourage you guys to utilize any social media content and follow all of the guidelines that are already set in place for you by Better Homes and Gardens, or anything that you've learned from previous social media trainings with Christian, because that will help you moving forward on LinkedIn, as most social media platforms act similarly. So we're going to go ahead and dive in here. So what is LinkedIn? So LinkedIn's mission is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and more successful. So professionals is the key word here. This platform is designed for professional content and for professionals to engage with one another. So there are three main things that you're going to find through utilizing LinkedIn. First is that you have the ability to establish and build connections, so grow your network. If you already have a network, you can import that from so my contacts on my phone are imported over to my network. If somebody in my contacts already has a LinkedIn, it will prompt me to connect with them. So that initial step in building your network on LinkedIn is very, very simple. But you can network within your first, second, and third degrees of connection. This is where I think that this is a really cool opportunity to meet new people and grow your network organically. So I know we're doing it virtually, but it can still be very organic. If you're not familiar with those first, second, and third degrees of connection, first is someone that you know, you've met them previously, or you guys have encountered each other, worked on the same teams, done something virtually together. So a second degree of connection is you know somebody that knows that person. And then a third degree connection is that you know somebody that knows somebody that knows that person. So your first and second degree network are networks that you have direct access to. A third degree is someone that you would have to have some sort of information in order to contact. So for example, if I wanted to connect with somebody that was 3 degrees away from me, I would have to have either their phone number or their email to put into the invite, and that allows me to invite them to connect. So essentially, it's not somewhere that you're just adding friends. So like on Facebook, if you have thousands of friends, that's pretty cool. You have thousands of friends, but maybe you really don't know that people or that person. LinkedIn is designed for people that you know or want to get to know. So the second piece is that you can source and share referrals. There's a function on LinkedIn that I'm going to show you that's called Ask for a Recommendation. And then there's also another feature on LinkedIn that is like skills and expertise. So you list all of your skills. So for me, like customer service is a big skill. That's actually my top skill. So customer service is on there, and people can go in and endorse you on those skills. So you're increasing your credibility using the features, sourcing and sharing referrals. And then here you can get involved and engage by creating or joining groups within your community, similar to what you would find on Facebook. So on Facebook, as you all know, there are many different types of groups that you can join. Those groups to me on Facebook were very like content filled. So it's just heavy people posting and posting and posting and posting, but not necessarily engaging with one another. It's just the fight to see who can get the most content into that group. So less of a source for engagement. But that's not what you find whenever you're on LinkedIn. Individuals that you know or would like to know are typically going to be a part of a group that you're joining. It's super simple to join a group, just as easy as it would be on Facebook. And then you join that group because you want to engage in the content of that group. So if I'm in a group that's like young business leaders in Kansas City, I'm in that group because I want to meet young business leaders in Kansas City and engage with them. Christian, I can't get my chat box up. Oh, I stopped my sharing. Sorry, guys.
So I think it is in the on the black bar that you have in the upper right of your screen, Maggie.
Now I see it. Thanks.
Okay. You're welcome.
Okay, so now we're going to go into some statistics. So why use LinkedIn? I use it just because I love it. Personally, I don't even have a Facebook page. I love the content and the intellectual level of individual that I'm connecting with on LinkedIn. So I don't have a Facebook. It's not that I don't use it. I just literally don't have it at all. I utilize LinkedIn. It is my #1 form of social media, and that's in front of Instagram as well. So I use this the most. So LinkedIn has 300 million active users. That number is clearly significantly lower than most other social media platforms. There are over 600 million users on LinkedIn, but 300 million users are actively using LinkedIn daily. And what I think is really cool about that statistic is that means that you're now cutting through less noise. You think about when you log into Facebook and I'm looking at my feed, it could take me a whole day just to scroll down and see 3 hours worth of content that was posted in a time frame, and more content is being piled on top of that. So LinkedIn isn't the social media site where you were trying to cut through noise. There is way less noise being posted on LinkedIn, and the content that is being posted is very highly engaging. 27% of Americans use LinkedIn. I think that's a really fun fact. That's a huge chunk of the pie that you could be missing out on, especially in a professional sense. So that's a huge amount. 27%, 1 in 4 basically, are going to be on LinkedIn. 50% of Americans with a college degree use LinkedIn. I know myself when I was in college, so it's actually right when I started college is when I created a LinkedIn account, and it was prompted by our business department. So pretty much everyone in my business department was encouraged to start utilizing LinkedIn within our first year to build those professional connections to be able to better get the jobs that we want in the professional realm. So I know that my university highly encouraged it. I know a lot of my peers that went to other universities do utilize LinkedIn as well. So it's a really great resource for, like I said, the level of intellect and the professionalism that you are engaging with. This fact is really neat. So 69% of individuals on LinkedIn earn at or above average incomes. So again, 300 million users is not a lot. But 69%, well over half of the users on LinkedIn are earning 50,000 or higher. So the average median household income from census.gov for Kansas City ending in the year 2018 was 52,000, and as median household. So these individuals are earning more. So when you are trying to sell high ticket items or introduce yourself as a professional in a field that is sourcing people that would buy homes like you guys are, that's a huge fact to be aware of when you're posting content on LinkedIn. So you're not having to post a lot of content trying to sell to them. That's not a conversation you even have to have, and nobody really does on LinkedIn. It's not a sales platform at all. It's just a source where you can set yourself up with some credibility as far as a professional, and you can kind of cut right to the chase as far as being a real estate agent. People will engage with you and your content, especially if it's authentic and organic and not necessarily centered around selling. And then this last piece, if you take anything away from it, this whole training, please let this be that. So the visitor to lead conversion rate is 2.74% on LinkedIn. That's huge. So down here, you can see that a survey from HubSpot showed that 0.69%, or that's the conversion rate, 0.69% on Twitter, visitor to lead conversion rate. Facebook's visitor to lead conversion rate is 0.77%. LinkedIn is 3 times that. That's huge because it's a platform designed for engaging. So that fact there, I hope, is what encourages you, if you don't already have a LinkedIn, to at least get it and explore the platform. I'm going to dive into here some information on how you can better utilize the platform. So here, we're going to focus on all-star profiles. Here in just a second, I'm going to jump over to my LinkedIn, and I'm going to show you what an all-star profile looks like. I'll show you some general functions like I had mentioned. I'm going to show you how to offer value through content and engagement. And then I'm also going to show you how you can seek out recommendations or like those skills and expertise, as I mentioned earlier. So let me take you over to my LinkedIn here. Let me move this little chat box now. So then this is what your LinkedIn platform, your profile, or your main page, your home page is going to look like. It looks pretty similar to Facebook in my opinion. To go to your profile here, you'll just click me and view profile. Okay, so this is an example of an all-star profile. What LinkedIn or what this page does to me is this is my elevator pitch. This is what I'm using if I am meeting somebody new or somebody that I really want to work with but haven't had the opportunity to work with. This whole page is my elevator pitch, but it allows you to incorporate media and other types of content. I couldn't imagine standing in an elevator with somebody and like pulling out visual aids, you know, that would be a little weird. So this is essentially going to serve that for you, as well as be a form of a business card, but that's only in one spot, and I'll show you that here in just a second. So first we're going to go over the banner here up at the top. This should represent you. So just like Facebook has a banner, LinkedIn has one as well. If you want to create a banner, you can just go to Canva. They have some basic banners that are available that you can edit, or they have the dimensions to where you can create your own. So if you have used Canva, I highly recommend creating your own banner. Mine here says happy thoughts, and that's the type of content that I typically produce on LinkedIn as well. Try to produce all sorts of positivity. So this should relate to what you do or what your personal mission is, or you know, why you're on LinkedIn. And then next you have a photo. So again, just like any other social media platform, you're going to have a photo here. But remember that this is a professional social media platform. So this photo, I would highly recommend that it be a professional headshot if it isn't already. And then if you here, you can edit it, you can move it around if you want to, you can change the photo pretty quickly, just like any other form of social media, honestly. And then you can make changes to your header and everything else by using these pencils. All throughout, you have a pencil off to the side to where you can make changes and edits, and we'll make one here in just a second. And then you have your name, of course. I have this little gold badge on here. I'm a LinkedIn Premium member. I have been a member of LinkedIn, like I said, for 7 years, and I just got LinkedIn Premium. So it's not a necessity. I just wanted to see what all the buzz was about. But if you see someone that has this badge, it just means that they have LinkedIn Premium. They have upgraded their account and now pay a premium to access more information. And then here you have your title. So the title portion of it, it should be what you do. So in my realm, I'm a training manager. So putting training manager there, I could just put a little line here and type training manager. But you know, that's not necessarily what I want to focus on. My focus and my personal mission is leadership development. So that's what I have as my title. You can also put your exact job title here. I would highly recommend, just for search results and purposes, that you put real estate agent. So if your exact title is executive sales agent, or I don't know, I can't think of any other types of job titles you might have, I would still recommend putting real estate agent right here. And then down towards the bottom, there's an experience section, and that is where you can put your exact title for the company that you work for. But this is going to help you pop up in maybe a Google search. So just keep that in mind. And then here too, if I were to type real estate agent in the search box, it's going to help generate you to the top of that feed versus pushing you all the way to the bottom, because it doesn't say that as your exact title on your profile page. And then you have, of course, where you're located. So highly recommend that this is the closest major city that you're located in. So for me, my closest major city is Kansas City, Missouri. If I worked in Kansas City, Kansas, of course, I would put that on there, or maybe I would put Kansas City and then next to my title, put Missouri and Kansas. So you can put next to your title where you do work the most. So if you put real estate agent, put that line there, and then you could put, you know, Kearney, Gladstone, Liberty, Smithville, whatever you focus on, next to your job title, again, to help generate you in a search. So then here we also have, oh, you know what? Let me show you how this would be helpful to populate up in a search. This is actually pretty cool in my opinion. Let's add a tab here. Look, so Maggie Petite Leadership and Development. If I search that, or if I searched Maggie Petite Kansas City, then I could click right here. It's the second thing that pops up, and it takes someone directly to my LinkedIn profile. So that's that search engine optimization that is helping push me to the top of that search result. And again, I chose to use a title that was a little bit different than what I would typically use. If I searched, you know, Maggie Petite Retail Manager, something different would come up for sure. Okay, so any questions so far? So it says, is realtor or real estate agent better? I would say real estate agent. Has anyone played around with that on LinkedIn or used SEO and know which one pops up better?
I know that we have, I think I saw that Valerie is on here. I don't know if she's still here or not, but she might be able to answer that because I know she deals with our corporate SEO stuff. But I'm guessing that the reason that it probably is better to put real estate agent is because that's typically what a consumer would search for, is real estate agent. They don't necessarily search. Most consumers, unfortunately, don't differentiate between realtor or real estate agent. Most of them are going to search real estate agent. That would be my guess.
This is Valerie. Anytime you can use real estate, because that's going to cross both errors. So if you wanted to use real estate or realtor, real estate is going to show up in any search, no matter what kind of real estate material they're trying to gather. So that's probably why I would always use real estate instead of a realtor.
Very good. Thank you for chiming in. Sorry to call you out.
Perfect. Thank you for helping me with answering that question. Yes, so using a title that is more generic is what I would highly recommend here, because again, it's going to help you pop up to the top of that search engine optimization there. So here we have connections. So if I click this here, it is going to show you all of my connections. So I have 731 first degree connections. So these are people that at some point in my time frame of being on LinkedIn in 7 years that I have worked with, crossed paths with, met at a networking event, what have you, or I've even done something virtual with. So 731 connections here. I'm going to show you how you can access your second degrees of connection. Jerry, yes, you could choose greater metro area as well. I would put greater metropolitan Kansas City or metropolitan area Kansas City. But Kansas City is going to help populate you in a feed there. I hope that answers your question on that. Okay, so second degrees of connection here. If I want to see my second degree network, I can click this drop down, click second and apply. And now I can do some research on people that I don't quite know yet, but know people that I know and figure out if I want to get to know them. So here, this person, Jake, I don't actually know him, but he does know Ryan, who I absolutely adore. So if I wanted to reach out to Jake and say, you know, hey, how do you know Ryan? I've done work with her here. I really love her work. And then I can engage with this individual. He has a pretty cool profile and he's very engaging on social media. I've seen a lot of his content, but I don't follow him, nor am I directly connected with him. But this is going to help you grow your network size, and it's going to allow you to engage in more content. So then again, that's just naturally going to help you grow and be engaged with. And then on here, so like I said, it shows 500 plus. Let's go back. It shows 500 plus. So this, again, I mentioned this earlier. On Facebook, you could have thousands of friends, and it's going to tell people that you have thousands and thousands of friends. But here, that's not what this platform is all about. Small but mighty is what I'm focusing on. So I have 731 connections. I have near that same amount of followers. So what that means for me is that I have a very high engagement rate on this social media platform. Chelsea, no, you do not designate who is in your first, second, or third degrees of connection. Your first degree is just who you are connected with. So if I'm going to go back here to my connections, that's a great question. So if we're looking at Joel, I know Joel, and I've worked with Joel in the past at Ulta Beauty. So he's my first degree connection. I know him. I'm directly connected with him because I made that choice to connect. Same with Anne. I've worked with her. I made the choice to connect with her. The second degrees of connection. So watch this 731 results is now going to go to 765,000 results. That's because of my 731 results, those people are connected with 765,000 other people that I'm not connected with. So LinkedIn automatically identifies my first, second, and third degrees of connection for me. It's not something that you have to filter out on your own. Great question. So then here are these 500 connections. Like I said, it's not about the number of people or the sheer volume that you're connected with. It's about how engaging those connections are going to be with you. So I have about 731. If I scroll down here, you can see that I have 746 followers. So those are people that are following the content that I am posting. So pretty cool that you can create such a high engagement rate on a social media platform, and that it's not just focused on who has the most followers. So here I'll show you contact info, and this is where I'm going to show you where you can make an edit. So here, this is the only form, like I said, that would be considered a type of a business card. So you're going to have, it's going to automatically create your profile for you or link it there. They're already on your LinkedIn, so I think it's interesting that they put that there. To make an edit, I just clicked the pencil, and I'm going to update this phone number here. And then also, so I recently learned that if you add your birthday on LinkedIn, it's going to create an organic connection. So now your entire network gets identified or notified that it's your birthday, and now they have an organic reason to reach out to you and say hello, and you can create conversation based off of something natural. So I love that they added this feature in there. That is new. So I wanted to show you guys that function. We're going to close this. Okay, so Chelsea asks, if you were going to create content for multiple platforms, what's the best way to do that? Is that a good idea or not? We're going to go into content here in just a minute. So I'll show you how you can share the content and utilize it for multiple platforms. But also the language on LinkedIn is a little bit different. So if you're doing anything, I would share from LinkedIn to another platform versus sharing from Facebook to LinkedIn. Okay, so then I have this on here. This is only visible to recruiters, but this isn't a function that anyone else can see. So even if you were to go right to my profile right now, externally, you would not see this little portion right here, but I am open to job opportunities. So I put that on there as well. So then here you have an about section. I don't know if you guys remember the old Facebook about sections, and they were just really witty and fun. I'm not on Facebook. I don't know if that's available anymore, but I do think that this is a really great resource to captivate your audience and draw people in. So here for mine, this is a blurb that I would have previously put on my resume, but I have here on my about section, and I actually took it off of my resume. So just a few really top skills and how I identify myself as a leader I have listed here. I'm going to show you two people who I feel like do this really differently, but really, really well. So the first one is Isaac, and I recently stumbled across his profile, and here we have a really, really fun example of how to utilize LinkedIn. So like I said, title, you can put this little bar here and separate out your titles. I love that Isaac has on here husband / dog dad / sports fanatic / biz dev, which is business development. So just a really engaging title here already. And then if you go down to his about section, I'm going to read this because it's so fun. I'm a Kansas City Jayhawk graduate, just out here trying to have fun in Kansas City. Isaac in Hebrew roughly translates to laughter, so I try to bring laughter into everything that I do. If you can learn to laugh, then everything else becomes much easier. I work hard and I play hard. I love podcasts of every variety. I take cold showers. I lunge 400 meters a day. The Alchemist is one of my favorite books. Will Ferrell is my favorite actor, and much, much, much more. If you're reading this, then reach out to me and we can connect. I mean, you've got to be intrigued by at least one thing that I've mentioned. I love this. I think that's just the cutest little about section, and it has a call to action in it. So this would make me, if I was in the same realm as Isaac and wanted to get to know him as a first degree connection, this would make me want to message him or connect with him and get to know him a little bit better. So this is a really fun and engaging way to utilize that section. Now I'm going to show you Ashley's profile here, and hers is very professional. So Ashley's the director of operations at Hughes & Associates in North Carolina. And here in her about section, she puts that I'm the director of operations and marketing at Hughes & Associates, a comprehensive executive and technical search firm servicing the pharmaceutical and biotechnology industries. Ambitious and dedicated professional with operations, marketing, and business management expertise, extensive experience with social media, internet marketing, event planning, advertising, web analytics, database, so on and so forth. So this is an example of how you can utilize your profile to further your career. So what I know about Ashley as an individual is that she also runs the Hughes & Associates page for LinkedIn, so their business page for LinkedIn. She's in a higher profile role, so it does make sense for her profile to be more of a professional about section versus Isaac's really fun profile, because he works for a marketing firm and he produces content. So of course he's going to have something that is a little bit more fun and a little bit more engaging. So if we go back here to the profile, this is your featured section. I'm going to try and speed it up a little bit, guys. So this is your featured section. So here I have only 2 things featured. I'm going to show you an example of somebody here in just a minute who has some really great information featured here. But I have, as you can see at the top, I'm open to opportunities. So the first thing on my featured is my resume. The big difference about this section is that this key information is not going to get lost in a feed. So over a year ago, actually about exactly a year ago, I posted an article on creating a legacy and my personal legacy. If someone wanted to see that, they would have to scroll all the way through my content in order to see that article that I posted. Instead, I decided to feature it because that article is very near and dear to my heart. And it's a kind of a self-accountability piece as well. So I will take a look at this quickly to remind myself that I am on my way to creating a legacy for myself. And I want to feature that here on my profile because that's what I want people to see whenever they are engaging my content. So I'm going to show you an example of why this is so huge and different from any other platform. You can utilize this to brag, essentially. You can put some of your top work accomplishments here, your top referrals, the top content that you've produced, really your best stuff that you want to brag about. So I'm going to jump over to Joanna's Instagram here, and we're going to scroll through, and there's a work accomplishment that she had posted a while back, but as you can see, it is buried under other pieces of content. So as I scroll, there's all sorts of content here, right? And then here, this is something that really could be acknowledged in that feature section, something that she could throw into the feature section and brag about. Chelsea, should those links be PDFs, photos? They don't have to be. So you can put all sorts of different content there. Let me show you here really quick. If I wanted to add something. It could be a post, so you can show content that you've posted to LinkedIn. You can put an article on there that is published via LinkedIn. You can put links here. So if you needed to link to another piece of web content, and I'll show you that here in a second, and then other types of media. So photos, documents, and presentations can be housed in this section as well. Let me jump over here to a profile that does this really beautifully. So we're going to take a look at Erin's profile here. Erin runs her own company, Lily and James, here in Kansas City. Here, she has made such a name for herself that her title is a call to action itself. So she doesn't actually have her title here. She has it down below. Her title is a call to action. So as we scroll down here in Erin's featured section, she has linked here articles that were written about her or maybe her business, and then she has other types of content. So if I click see all here, there's only 5 things. So she selected only 5 things to be featured, but these are the top of the top, the best things, the things that she really wanted to brag about. So she has those listed here. Let's see. Yes, thanks for answering that. Yes, absolutely, like great place to link your app, your request business pages, articles that we've been mentioned in. Highly, highly recommend articles that you've been mentioned in. This is a great place to brag about your successes. So as you see, even Erin posted a video that she put on LinkedIn. This is a good one. So if you guys check her out, it's the biggest mistakes made on LinkedIn. I've watched this like 4 times. It's good stuff. But yeah, so you can utilize that section for many different things. Highly recommend utilizing it just to simply brag about yourself. Are there any other questions on what we've gone over so far? No? Okay. You guys are doing a nice job of putting those over in the chat box. Let's see. So we're going to take a look here at the dashboard. I love this function because you can see how engaging your content is. This dashboard, of course, is private to you. Here is where it's identifying that I have an all-star profile. Let me take a brief second to tell you guys that to create an all-star profile, LinkedIn will guide you directly through it. So as you create your profile, there will be a bar right where this dashboard is, and it'll show you your progress towards having an all-star profile. So it's not something that you have to Google or do any other type of search for. I'm just showing you examples on how you can maximize your profile and get to that all-star status a little bit quicker. So here, I'm going to click this portion of my dashboard. So this is so cool. So it breaks down your profile views in the last 90 days. I can see all the way back to January on here. So I am up 267% in views since last week. And last week here, you can see that I only had 12 views, which was down 40% from the week prior. But I want to note with you guys that I was actually at 2 views at the beginning of that week before discussing this LinkedIn course and getting everything set up. And then I started to get really highly engaged so I could show you a specific example of how just simply engaging can drive this up for you. So I just simply, instead of just liking posts, I started engaging heavily in content by commenting or tagging people in those posts. And my engagement went from 12 all the way up to 44, up 267% over the course of 1 week. And I wasn't even really putting out content there. I was just commenting on other people's content. So I love that I can see here how what I'm doing is making a difference and how it is driving. And I just like to see these kind of numbers. It's just really rewarding. It's like getting a sales report and winning, you know? So that's what this looks like to me. So I love this portion here to be able to see how I am growing and if my content is actually working for me. As I scroll down, I can actually see everybody who has viewed my profile. So this is huge for several reasons. You can see who is engaged in your content. So if you're attracting the right individuals to your content, this is one that I'm so crazy excited about, the Director of Customer Experience at Bonobos. Customer experience is huge for me. And I recently was researching Bonobos and looking at job opportunities that they had available and connected with a recruiter from them. So it was really cool to see that my engagement with their brand drew the Director of Customer Experience at that company to my profile. So there's just really great examples of individuals that you wouldn't be able to connect with just randomly on the street popping up here on your LinkedIn.
Hey, Maggie, there was a question in chat about, are you seeing that because you're on premium, or do you still see that when you're on the non-premium version?
Yes, so I can see this many because I'm on premium. But you can see, I think it's 5 at a time, not on premium. So it'll show, and it'll still show you all of this not having premium. So really the benefit of premium in this portion is that I can see literally everybody that has taken a look at my profile, not just the select few. LinkedIn also tells you immediately, and it pops up in your notifications when somebody has looked at your profile. So if you keep up with it, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn daily, so I don't necessarily need this function because I get the notifications that say, so-and-so looked at your profile, or this person looked at your profile. It's gonna pop up under my notifications feed up here, but maybe not under here. So I can't really go back and look at it. I just have to keep up with it quickly. I hope that answers that question. You're still able to see a good amount of people that are viewing your profile though, and it does update every 24 hours. Okay, so then we're also going to take a look at search appearances here. Let me go back to my profile. This is a function that you can utilize to understand if your content is drawing in the right people. It's not a huge portion of your profile, but it's just saying I popped up 12 times between the 31st and the 7th in a search. If I changed my job title though, or my title at the top, that would probably increase because it would be more specific to a job title. So for example, if you had executive sales agent as your title and your weekly stats said 12, and then you changed it to real estate agent, these weekly stats would go up significantly. And then it's going to show you just some generic information. Where do those searchers work and what do those searchers do? Typically, retail salesperson is the top on mine. So interesting that retired and software developer are #1 right now for me. But this is just showing you that you are appearing in the search and your SEO efforts are working for you. I'm going to go back here and then we're going to dive into activity. If I clicked post views here, it would be the same as taking a look here at activity. This is the content piece that we're going to dive into, guys. So this activity is just your feed. So anything that you've liked, commented on, engaged in some type of way is going to show up here. It's also going to be the area that shows you if I commented on something, it's going to continue to show me when other people are commenting on things. And I can keep up with the posts that I've commented on just to keep engaging over and over and over again with the individuals on a post. So I don't utilize this function that much because this is where I have already engaged in things, but I do use it from other people's profiles so I can see what they're engaging in. So then I can maybe spark conversation with them or create a closer degree of connection. So say I didn't, say I didn't know Joanna, I do, thank God. But say I didn't know her and I wanted to get to know more about her and what she's interested in, I could just go over to her activity and click see all and engage with her on posts. So this is so different than just direct messaging people. You are putting yourself out there in a different way and engaging alongside them and learning more about the content that they're interested in. So then you can create a first degree of connection with that person. But here I'm going to show you posts and the type of content that I post on LinkedIn and what works for me. So here we're going to dive into content. If you guys have specific content questions, like we said earlier, Christian is available to answer those. So please toss them in the chat box and we will stop throughout the content portion here. So the content that I'm posting on LinkedIn is a combination of organic content, sharing content from other pages on LinkedIn, or sharing content from external sources. I'm going to put this out there. I don't have social media guidelines set in place by my company, nor do I work somewhere where there are legalities set in place, but I'm still utilizing content that is pretty basic, and it's not anything that's going to ruffle any feathers. And really, LinkedIn is not about ruffling feathers. So here I just shared a post from an account that I follow, left a brief comment, breathe in, breathe out, to my network. This post only got 99 views and only 3 likes, which is okay. If we scroll down, this is an organic piece of content. So I didn't share this from another feed. I pulled this image off of Pinterest and I posted it directly to my LinkedIn page. And then I didn't have any comments here. I just entered down a little bit and added some hashtags. So then that would draw some more engagement on my post through the use of these hashtags. That one got 8 likes and 358 views. So you can already see that organic content is going to get you much more than just sharing from other platforms. As we scroll, I shared this piece of media. If you haven't already taken the Happiness Lab, highly recommend. But I shared this with my network here. I added the link directly to it, some useful ways to utilize your time that were suggested from the Happiness Lab. This one got 253 views, 2 likes, and 3 comments. And we're just going to scroll down. I'm going to show you guys a couple of really great ones. So again, I shared from another feed here. Here, this is when I was furloughed, and my new boss is my dog. So this is my beautiful baby. I shared that on LinkedIn. Again, this isn't a very personal post, and that's one thing that I love about this platform is it's not just personal information. It's not about your personal life per se. Everyone meet my new boss. These are her top priorities. These are her pillars to success, essentially. Other than that, other than those 5 things, she's cool. I'll let you know how my performance review goes. So something witty and fun. It is okay to post something fun on LinkedIn. As we saw on Isaac's profile, it was very, very fun. He has very, very fun content as well. And a lot of his content has a call to action. So here, if I wanted to get even more engagement, I could say, other than those 5 things, she's cool. I'll let you know how my performance review goes. Tell me about your new boss. And then that would encourage more people to engage with this post. So I highly recommend utilizing a call to action. As we scroll here, you see that this got more engagement. She's so cute. So of course it did. And then 392 views, right? So it's going up. So let me show you the top content that I've created. As Christian mentioned earlier, I'm a training manager. And so here I posted about an individual that I trained. I've been mentoring her for years. And after 2 short years in retail, she's now she now runs her own boutique. So just very proud of her. I shared this on LinkedIn. I added some hashtags here, and this got 566 views and 13 types of engagement, so likes or loves. And then the biggest one for me, yesterday it didn't show me how engaged, oh good, it shows today. So again, I trained this individual and I just added that I'm so excited to see their store results come to life because she's such a great individual. And then here it got 47. So it's a like, a heart, or like celebration. So 47 and then 3 comments, 1,800 views. So I just want to drive home here that organic content that is true to what you do. I'm not selling my company here to anybody. I'm not selling what's in the photo to anybody. I'm essentially just selling what I did to people. I'm just saying, hey, here's what I did. Loved training her. It was a blast. And that's where you really got the most engagement. How do you know what hashtags to add? I have not used those. So hashtags are really up to you. So it should be centered around the post. On all of your posts, I would put hashtag real estate agent, hashtag Kansas City. So focus primarily on the type of people that you want to draw in. So for me, I want to draw people that are searching hashtag inspiration, leadership, training, coaching, leadership development. These are the people that I want in my network, people that are searching for inspiration and leaders and things like that. Are there rules about hashtag spaces and caps? No. Or not on LinkedIn, I guess. I don't know about necessarily specific hashtag rules that would relate to real estate, but there's not rules via LinkedIn that are saying you can only put 5 hashtags or you can only hashtag these things. It will actually recommend a hashtag for you when you're creating a post. Looks like you don't use caps or spaces. I don't. If you space in a hashtag, so if I put hashtag leadership space development, it would only be hashtag leadership. So you have to leave it all as one word in order for it to be a hashtag. But you can put things in caps if you want to. Okay. Do you guys feel like you have a good feel for the types of content that would be engaging on LinkedIn? Can like give me a thumbs up or a yes. Okay, and this is my content. So it can look very different for an individual and their content. Like I said, Isaac does a really, really nice job of creating content. Let me show you really quick his content here. And again, this is just another way for me to show you how to access his content. So I'm going to go to Isaac's activity, click see all. I would like to see some realtor examples if you have any. Yes, I can show you some. I'll actually use Joanna's profile to show you guys how this content doesn't necessarily have to be just real estate focused. So let me show you Isaac really quick. Here, he's just super simple. I was thinking today as I was hugging my dog, proceeded to sing a song to him, how amazing he was. What if we treated our prospects, clients, and partners like this, you know, obviously without the hugging for right now. But then he just adds this, maybe I give my dog way too much unnecessary attention. Maybe that's the moral of the story, food for thought. And then a few hashtags here. So just a fun type of content. Some of his things will have a call to action in them. Let me know below. So, and it's encouraging people to engage with his content. So let me go here. I'll show you profile here, profile done really nicely. So then if I want to take a look at the content that's being posted here, posts, this is just fun content. Okay, like it doesn't, you're not here to post your listing or to sell a house or to sell people that you're a real estate agent. You're here to engage authentically with people, but on a professional level versus a personal level. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to say I'm a real estate agent on everything that you do. If I had to go, let me just go to a real estate agent. Let's just search. And we'll take a look at people here, and I'll show you in the Kansas City, Missouri area. I'm just gonna click the first individual that pops up. Let me, oh, look at that. See, she doesn't even have any content. So nothing being produced on here. Let's click another one. Activity, see all, and posts. For content though, Christian, am I correct in that you guys have like pre-approved content readily available?
It's not necessarily pre-approved. We've got some guidelines right now about, you know, appropriate content, basically not posting right now any unsolicited marketing, but the things that you're showing are absolutely appropriate. What we don't want to do right now is post things that are, you know, broad sweeping statements about the market, about, you know, interest rates, anything in that regard right now, or trying to get people to entice them to get into the real estate market right now. So those are the broad things that we're asking our agents to stay away from, but that's really
Okay.
the limitations we have right now.
Okay. Okay, cool. So even here, like, would this be an approved article for you, 20 best places to live in the Midwest?
I think that would be fine. Yeah.
Okay. So things like that, I would have recommended that to you guys. And I would also recommend things that are like I have an article that's like a Boss Babes gift guide that I posted previously. So you could even put a gift guide for new homeowners, or how to support your neighbors right now. Things like that would be really cool content that you would see frequently here on LinkedIn. Let's see. Agents from other companies are doing that, even though getting tons of engagement. I don't agree with them doing that. They're super visible. Let's see, when it's appropriate to cover. I have questions about the automatic communications page. It seems to spam people. Are you talking about the home page here, Julia? We're going to go into the home page here in just a second. As far as spam goes, though, you guys may have noticed there's really no ads on here, with the exception of like right here. So there's not a bunch of random things coming into play. Okay, I got to kick it in high gear. There's more stuff that I want to show you when I'm running up your clocks here. Okay, so experience over here. This is just what you would maybe put on your resume. You can drop it down. You can put as much here as you want to. And then just my exact title is here, and then daily business operations. I also added down here, this section is pretty big because I held multiple roles at that time. So I added all of them in there, and then my achievements are down here. I don't recommend that for your industry though. I recommend calling those out pretty quickly. Credibility is huge for what you do. So I highly recommend putting that closer to the top of your LinkedIn profile. For my industry, working in retail and as a trainer, credibility comes from the people that I work with. So my skills and expertise and my references or referrals section is where that would really come into play. As far as Mina asking about like requests that they did not send, does this happen? I've actually never had this happen on LinkedIn. I've only had it happen on Facebook, is where like people will receive friend requests for me or message requests for me that I didn't initially send. So I've never had that issue in my 7 years here. Let's see, we're gonna scroll down here. I hope that answered your question on that. Getting requests from lenders that I've never met. So this is what you have control over your network. So you don't have to connect with people. You can decline a connection. I'm very protective of my network. So I'm not going to add somebody to my network if I don't know them. So I do get requests from, in here I have listed that I've traveled to India and done some work there. So I do get a surprising amount of requests from people in India. Obviously I don't know them and they're not using the platform in a way that I want to engage with, so I don't connect with them and I don't engage.
Maggie, I was just going to add on to the question about the requests being sent out. I will go in from time to time. I'm not very good at going into LinkedIn and approving or ignoring requests, but when I do, when you get to the bottom of the requests that you've received, you start getting into suggestions, and it's hard sometimes to differentiate between you approving them and then suggested contacts or connections. So sometimes I've accidentally sent out requests just going down through my list and not realizing that I'm now sending requests, not responding to requests. So that might be why you get some of those.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, it does give you suggested people to connect with. Again, just be really protective of your network. It's not about how many people are on there. It's about the quality of individual. that you're connecting with? Okay, really great questions so far, guys. So let's take a look here at skills and endorsements. We have the this whole portion you create yourself. So you're going to add skills in there yourself, and then people will endorse you on those skills. So if I click this, I actually have a ton of different skills listed on here. If you're a real estate agent, the number one skill that you should be endorsed in is real estate. So when I work with people directly, so I worked with Sheila directly. So after I first met her in person and learned about how she works, I went straight to her LinkedIn profile and endorsed her and some of the skills that I saw her perform in when I worked with her. So I always utilize this as a way to connect with people. And I find here that what I give is what I get. So if I'm giving endorsements to somebody, they're like, oh, great, that's so sweet that she gave me endorsements. Let me take a look at her profile and give her some endorsements as well. And it doesn't always work exactly like that, but typically it goes through like that for sure. Rick, thanks for joining. Okay. So we're going to scroll down. I'm not going to go too heavy into this because for me, that just makes plain sense that you can endorse people. When I'm on somebody's profile, I just click the plus sign and it endorses them. So then here, I'll jump over to Joanna's here in a second and give her endorse her in something. So then for recommendations here, this is essentially your referrals or recommendation section. You can ask for a recommendation. So today, leading a training, I could click here and type Christian, and then click that, and then put like how I know her. It's not any of these roles, but I could just click one, honestly, and then click next, and then it's going to send her a recommendation request to say like, hey, I did this. Can you recommend me for X, Y, and Z, and just move on for there. So for me, I've only given 2 recommendations. And again, I find that you get what you give. So Tony previously worked for me and was moving into a totally different field. So I gave her a recommendation. And then Ashley, I've worked with her on a project before. And this is, like I said, you get what you give. I gave her a recommendation on April 9th and then received a recommendation from her same day. So it really is, you get what you give here, or you can reach out and ask for recommendations like I just showed you to grow this portion of your profile. You guys work in an area where recommendations and referrals are really huge for you. So I would recommend using this. You can use it with your boss, you can use it with your peers, you can use it with people who you have like sold a home to or sold a home for. You can ask for that recommendation on here just to grow this portion of your profile. And then you have an accomplishment section. Mine's not great. It just has my college courses and a few other things, but let me show you a really great one here. So Goldie Chan here, she puts her accomplishments right here at the very top. So you can see many different ways to utilize this title. Again, recommend for you to put real estate agent, but you can add a couple other things in there if you want to. And then as we scroll down, we're going to take a look here in experience. Even she's added media just to create some credibility for herself. And then it adds here, she's open to speaking opportunities. So this is a lot of content that would draw me in if I wanted to seek her out for a speaking opportunity. But now I'm going to scroll down. This section here is utilized really, really well by Goldie. So she has received 31 recommendations. That's the most I've ever seen, and given 21 recommendations. So a really great portion of her profile is dedicated to recommendations because she's open to speaking opportunities. So this would be huge to take a look at to create some credibility. And then she has her honors and awards down here as well. So a few of the ones that are listed at the top are listed down here as well. Again, just solidifying that credibility that she is creating for herself. Okay, that's really all I have for the profile. I'm going to show you just really, really quick the main page of LinkedIn. Does anyone have questions on the profile? Okay. Okay, I'm taking up a lot of your time, so we're gonna go back to here to this profile really quick. This is your main page, looks just like Facebook or other forms of social media, in my opinion. One really cool function that I love here, first of all, everything that I see on this feed include hashtags that I follow, content that people that I'm connected with have engaged in, or content that might be interesting to me based on the groups and hashtags that I have already previously followed. So a lot of this is catered specifically to what I want to see and what I typically engage in. If I am taking a look at LinkedIn and I didn't get a chance to read a whole thing, or I'm like, oh, this looks interesting, but I don't have time to engage in it now, you can save it for later and then click this section here. So if you saw somebody that you wanted to engage with, but you just didn't have time that moment, save it for later. I use this function a lot. And then now later on in the day, you can click back into this, take the time to read the article, and then comment and engage in that post. It's a function I use all the time. And then in this portion here, you just have your recents, things that I've looked at recently, the groups that I'm involved in. I'm not involved in a lot of groups on here, but then hashtags that I follow quite a bit. But this is why I use hashtags, because that's how I take a look at content. So if I want to deep dive and engage a lot in something, maybe I'm going to click hashtag Kansas City. This will also help you find content to share. Hashtag Kansas City. And then I can take a look at the content that's being used in hashtag Kansas City. The biggest thing recently here is that I saw a post, it was actually from Sophia, about an HR position that was open, and I had a connection that had posted a few weeks prior that they were looking for a position in HR. So I just commented on this post, hey person, weren't you looking for an HR position? And then I just now connected two of my first degree connections, and they became first degree connections. So this whole section I think is a really, really great section to stay involved. If this is Kansas City, you can take a look at Kansas City. You can take a look at, I work in the fashion industry, so I follow hashtag fashion, so I engage in a lot of content on this hashtag. But this is going to help you find content to engage in, and it's also going to help you generate into these feeds as well. You can see how many people are following this hashtag too. And then for the home section here, this is only current, this special report on coronavirus. This is all the information on LinkedIn that's being covered for the coronavirus. And then just typical like quick tidbits from the news is popping up on here. This is another good way to engage, I think. If I'm seeing that this one has 5,900 readers, then maybe I'll click that and see if there's some content that I want to engage in, but make sure it is pertinent to you. Okay, that's all I have for taking a look at LinkedIn. There's a few other really great things you can do on LinkedIn. You can also change the language on your profile, which I think is really neat. So if I also spoke Spanish, then I could make my profile available in Spanish, but primarily in English. So I think that's a cool function. It automatically will do that for you if you want to under language. Okay, so we're gonna go back here. Top 3 things to take away. So first is that the amount of engagement that you get rests on how engaged you are. And that applies to any social media platform. I'm sure several of you have seen this in effect. If you are just posting every single day, you're not going to get what you want out of social media. Social media is to be socialized on. And then use a call to action approach for better results. I think that, yeah, I love this. Yes, use a call to action. That is going to help you soar. Creating authentic content will help you soar, and using a call to action will help you soar on any social media platform, specifically on LinkedIn though, because that is what this platform was designed for. And then lastly, the biggest takeaway is that LinkedIn is not just a business card. I hope you learned that in this course today. There's so many other things that you can include on LinkedIn. Okay.
Maggie, this was awesome. My gosh. I have a page of notes and all sorts of takeaways. I have not been a very good steward of my LinkedIn profile and really using it like I should. So now I know how everybody else feels after they come to classes with a whole long list of to-do things. This was awesome. And I greatly appreciate you sharing all your knowledge with us, and appreciate everybody that was on here.
For sure. You're welcome. Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask or anything? If you don't ask them on here, you can ask me on LinkedIn when you create your account.
I will say, let me just interject to that. The reason that I reached out to Maggie, I was just going to have her do a live class in Liberty. And the reason that I reached out to Maggie was because she had turned off Facebook and had become way more engaged on LinkedIn, which isn't somewhere that I've been very good about posting and doing things. And the more I watched what she was doing, the more I really realized what she was using it for. And Maggie's a millennial, and you don't see a whole lot of millennials engaging on Facebook anymore. Mm-hmm. And they've moved to different platforms. So I think it's so important for us to understand where our next customers are engaging and where we can get them from. So fabulous job, baby girl.
Thank you.
My husband uses LinkedIn like I use Facebook. He is not on Facebook, has never been on Facebook, and loathes it. But he uses LinkedIn. I see him scrolling his content feed, just like I scroll a Facebook feed, and he sends me articles all the time that are just incredible. And I know that there's so many great opportunities to use LinkedIn for us in real estate. So this is very timely and very appreciated.
For sure. Absolutely. Happy to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity to teach you guys about LinkedIn. It's my favorite social media platform, like I mentioned. And then like my mom mentioned, I don't at all use Facebook. So if you want to engage with millennials, you're going to have to try something a little different.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if anybody has questions, just throw them in the chat or unmute yourself and ask Maggie before we wind things down here. I'm trying to figure out how to take back the hosting so I can end the recording here.
I might be able to.
Oh, there it is. I found the button.
Oh, you got it.
It was hiding.
Okay, so in the chat, somebody asked if I have any more statistics on realtors using LinkedIn. So of the 300 million active users, when I checked it the other day, there were only like 200,000 search results for real estate agent. So there are 600 million total users. When you search real estate agent, only 200,000 people popped up. So that's small.
It is. There's a big opportunity for to get some good engagement in real estate.
Julia says there will be a lot more.
Somebody asked if there are any classes coming up on Instagram, and that's actually a note that I have written down that I think we're going to plug in for next week on Instagram. I'm not a heavy Instagram user, so I've got to find somebody like Maggie that is, that can bring great content like this. So we'll get you an Instagram class very shortly. I'm just watching the chats come in to see if there are any other questions.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So here, Jennifer, nice comment about the ages and the demographics of people that are utilizing social media. And like I mentioned earlier, Facebook has a lot of noise that you have to cut through. So you'll certainly find less noise on LinkedIn.
All right, well, we'll shut this down for today. Thank you all so much for joining. And again, Maggie, thank you for coming in and helping us with LinkedIn. And Joanna, thank you for connecting us with your wonderful, incredibly super impressive daughter.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.